Welcome into a special edition of Tornado Watch. This year, the NCAA is celebrating the 50th anniversary of Division II athletics. And over the next few months, we'll catch up with several former Tornado who racked up accomplishments since 2011, the year King transitioned to Division II. Today, we are joined by Nic Stella, a former member of our men's wrestling team. Nic, we appreciate you stopping by and having a chat with us.
Thanks for having me.
Well, before we look back on your time here at King, why don't you start off by filling us in on the exciting business venture that you're on currently?
Yeah, so currently I own Ryse Supplements. I'm the CEO and founder. Started in November 2017. Before that, I had another company, which we'll kind of get into. It was in the web development sphere, which I learned at King and actually got my degree in. I ended up selling that. I'm sure we'll talk more about Ryse, but it's ended up being one of the top brands in the industry, #1 selling brand in Vitamin Shop. We're a top 3 selling pre-workout and protein at Walmart. We're sold in about 40 different countries all over the world. We'll get more into that, but that's what I do currently.
Well, you spent a few seasons here on our men's wrestling team, and I know you've got some great memories in your time here. Fill us in on what your time at King meant to you.
Yeah, so 5 years. So I redshirted 1 year. I was in that transition period where we were NAIA. So I was NAIA 1 year, redshirted, then I had 3 years D2. Great time, great family. You know, what I really like about King is the small feel. I moved from Buffalo, New York. So I think I almost had as many graduating kids in my high school class as I did in my college class. But I love the atmosphere. We love Bristol. I even named my daughter Bristol because me and my wife met there. So she wrestled on the women's wrestling team. She was a national champion. So we love Bristol. We love Tennessee. Love everything I learned there. Love the teachers, especially, which we could talk more about. But you know, I grew up being dyslexic, so I had some issues in school. The teachers really pushed me to get through. So I was recruited by a bunch of D1 programs, decided ultimately to go to King D2, smaller school, and I got a lot out of it versus being in a huge class where I didn't have to go to the classes. So just really grateful for all the time I did spend and all the relationships I met there.
Well, let's talk about Ryse for a moment. Where did the idea come from, and how did your time at King influence your decision to pursue this opportunity?
So I think I'll start with King. So my time at King, I don't know if you guys still have it, but I graduated with digital media and I did a lot of marketing class. Do you guys still have digital media? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So um, for the first 2 years, I had no idea what I wanted to do. And I think that's really common when you're 18, like you have 18, 19, 20. You really don't know what you want to do. I was just there to wrestle and have fun, right? So I was there going through classes, just getting a 2.1 so I can still stay academically eligible to wrestle. And I met a bunch of great teachers along the way. Katie Vandebrake, I don't think she's there anymore, but amazing, amazing teacher that helped me push through a lot, and she mentored me. Um, so ended up going into the digital media space. I did a little bit of it prior to that in high school, and I really fell in love with the web development aspect of what I did at King. And I also learned a lot of like photography. I took a lot of Adobe classes too. So I learned a lot to kind of go off on my own and start my own thing. I ultimately decided I wanted to do that and I loved it. And after I got out of college, I wanted to be a cop, but I was driving Dunbar trucks and something happened here in Dallas. I can't remember. I was interviewing with Dallas and I ended up getting, me and my wife were going to have Hudson, my first son. And I was like, all right, well, I want to go do something that's a little more safe because at the time we weren't planning on having a kid. We ended up having Hudson. And I just went with something in my space and it made more money. So ended up doing that and I still loved working out. So my wife obviously works out. She wrestled. We would take my son to the daycare at the gym we were at all the time. We work out every day and on the weekends. So I've always loved dietary supplements, and I was doing stuff in web development. So I kind of went off on my own after that, after I got really good at building websites and learning marketing, and started my own companies. So that's kind of how I started Ryse. I just have always had a passion for dietary supplements and working out. And that's kind of where King came in. I learned some of my skills through web development and enough to navigate myself through my first job to then really learn how to build websites and create my own brand.
So tell us some more about your products and what need that your business meets in today's market.
Yeah, so we sell, I have some right here actually, pre-workouts, proteins. I think where we differentiate is, so this is our Ring Pop pre-workout. We do licensed collaborations. So I deal with like Kraft, with Kool-Aid and Country Time Lemonade. I deal with Ring Pop, which is Topps brand. I deal with Harvest Hill, which is Sunny D. So we have the license to Sunny D. Really where we differentiate is we're clean products. We're manufactured in an NSF certified facility, but our stuff tastes phenomenal, right? So we have to actually work with Sunny D, Country Time, Kool-Aid, and make sure that it matches their flavor profile before it can go out the door. So that was something we did to differentiate a little bit. The need we always talk about, so we're big on social media. We always talk about supplements are there to supplement your diets. Like, they're not miracle pills. You're not going to take pre-workout and get jacked. They're just there to help you work out. So we're very transparent, clear, honest, to the point, great flavors, great products. And they're just there to help you.
Well, you recently announced a partnership with the Buffalo Sabres of the NHL. I know that means a lot to you. Fill us in on the agreement and why it means so much to you.
So I grew up in Buffalo, obviously. If you know anything about the Bills or the Sabres, they're very hard to be loyal to because they've never won a Stanley Cup or a Super Bowl. But the Buffalo's got a very good Bills Mafia is a real thing. So very loyal following. We have other teams that we're going to be announcing soon, some really big plans that revolves around our drinks. So this is a new space we're going into. We kind of tackled the pre-workout and protein space, which we've been doing for the past 5 years. Energy drinks, we're going up against the Monsters and Red Bulls of the world now. So we have to play in that big boy world with professional sports teams. We do have some college teams coming on. So we have some really big plans with the energy drinks. But really excited about the Sabres because obviously it touches home, literally.
So what advice do you have for current King students who may have an interest in entrepreneurship in the future?
I do a lot of podcasts about this. I think the biggest thing is you don't actually did a video this morning. You don't have to start a company and try to build a Ryse, right? So we're sold in Walmart, Vitamin Shop. We sell millions of bottles and tens of millions of cans per year. Like, if you're starting and you want to be an entrepreneur, you're going to fail. It's inevitable. It's kind of like a sport, right? You're not always going to win, and you got to get back up and you got to keep going. So I think my biggest thing is, like, pick something you really want to do. And if you don't like to do it, it's not going to work. I tell this to entrepreneurs all the time. Like, if you don't like cars and you start a car dealership, you're probably going to fail. So make sure you're passionate about it, because you're going to fail and you have to get up every day and keep working towards it. And then try to apply yourself, like things you've learned over time. And I was talking about King, like, I made sure I went into something. I built our first 3 websites. I still oversee our websites and marketing and management. Make sure you're doing things that you're good at, and hire people. If you're an entrepreneur specifically, make sure you hire people or surround yourself by people. If you're just working a job, that can complement things that you might not be best at.
You've alluded a little bit to where we can find your product, but for those that may be itching to give some of your products a try, fill us in. Where are the best places to go to get those?
For the supplements, you can go anywhere. So GNC, Walmart, Vitamin Shop, Five Star Nutrition, I think you guys have there. So you can go there as well. The drinks, they're a little trickier to buy. Amazon, we are in Walmart, and then we're in a bunch of regional chains up in Tennessee. So Amazon might be the best for drinks.
All right, we'd like to say thank you again to Nic Stella for joining us on this special edition of Tornado Watch as we celebrate the 50th anniversary of Division II by catching up with some notable Tornado alumni from King's Division II era. For Nick, I'm Chris. We thank you for watching, and we hope to see you next time.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Nick.